What up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I am back with another clip, quick reaction video for you guys. Now in this clip, Summer Walker, she says, hey, when you go broke, she will leave you. All right, we gonna hop into what she actually had to say, and I want to give my thoughts on it. Make sure you chime in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell to be notified when I upload new content. I want to hear what you have to say on this. Let's hop right into it, you guys. Here we go.
When you go broke, I will leave you.
Oh.
Figure it out.
So you're here to just bleed them dry.
Yes.
As soon as you get everything, you're off. Do you normally seek out the victims, or do they come? Is it inbound calls?
Oh, no. I never chase.
So it's never outbound?
I only attract.
Inbound only.
And if you came and talked to me, that's your fault.
Right, your prerogative. You signed up for this.
Ladies, if you try to ride or die, you will, in fact, die. Don't do that no more. You look stupid.
I do want to think, and maybe this is me being optimistic, that not like 100% exclusively that will be the experience. You know, maybe there are some good dynamics still left, no?
It could be. I'm not a man hater. I don't know. I just don't like them anymore. Like,
When you say them.
like men, I don't like to date wise.
You know, I don't, you know, my thing is this, and this is why I say women become bitter. This is how a lot of women think. When they have had bad experiences with men, they tend to start thinking in a weird way. Now, you know, I'm going to assume that the relationships that she's been in the past, she wasn't particularly in those relationships to finesse the men. I'm going to assume that she actually cared for them because she gave children to those men, right? She had babies. So I don't think it started that way, but like she said, she doesn't like men anymore. She's not a man hater. But I think because they choose the wrong guys and they put their trust and they give their all to the wrong guys, the guys that they are attracted to, which tells you there's something mentally going on because a lot of women are attracted to the men that really aren't the best for what they're looking for. But this is what they're attracted to. So they go with what they're attracted to. And it ends up not working out for them. And they put a lot of stock into it. And then when it doesn't work out or it goes left, now they have this mentality that all men are just, you're tired of them, you don't want them. So now, oh, you're just going to finesse them. If they're you're not going to take them seriously. And that's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate circumstance that you brought up on yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of women are attracted to the bad boys, but they want good guy outcomes. You know, you want the man who's going to, treat you bad, do you dirty, cheat on you, have all these other women and make babies and do all kinds of stuff. And it builds trauma and chaos in your head. It creates a toxic environment for you and a mental disturbance that causes you to have this traumatic outcome, which starts to play on the way you think, how you move, and how you react to it. So there are consequences of that. And to me, part of it is the fact of how women who have been through that think this way. Oh, I don't like men anymore. Why? Because you feel like they did you dirty. You was loyal to somebody at one point and they did you dirty, and it happened over and over and over and over again. And now you have this disdain for men. You don't like them. So now all of them are targets. So any man that approaches you gonna play it. It's a game now. Now you're playing a game. It's a catchback or get back moment. You know, it's like, oh, I don't care. He's not the one who did me dirty, but you know what? I suspect he will, because this is all they do. So I'm going, get him before he can get me type of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm gonna play you before you play me. But I think that that's still not a good way to be, especially when you have kids. You have kids that you got to raise and you got to teach them certain things. You want to set good examples for your children, and that's not a way to do that. Because, you know what I'm saying? It's just not a good way to think. It's not a good mentality. But I do think a lot of women put themselves in these positions, but then they play the victim. You play like you're the victim, but you're the one who put yourself in that position. And you don't want to acknowledge that. That you have a type of guy that you like, even though you know he's not going to be good for what you're eventually going to want. Because I don't care what women say. Most women want monogamy with the man that they really care about. The man that you really care about, you want to feel special. You want to be exclusive. You want to know that you got a faithful man that's there for you and love you enough to be with only you, and put you first in your family. And a lot of times these women don't pick guys that are that. They pick guys who know they can get a whole bunch of chicks and they're going to do it. And you're not exclusive enough for them to want to just keep just you. And that makes them feel a certain type of way. And so then, and then especially when you all into the guy and you like him and you give him babies thinking that's going to make him change and it doesn't, he's still who he is. He's still the guy that you picked. And so I just think it's unfortunate that we have women who think this way, who think like, you know what, you're going to drain them for whatever you can because it ain't about love anymore. Your heart is cold now. That's what it sounds like now. Your heart is cold. You don't want to open yourself up to be hurt again is what they're saying. That's what she's saying, in my opinion. You don't want to be hurt again. You don't want to open your heart up to somebody to hurt you. So now you're just going to finesse and play the game. And that's it. That way you don't get hurt. But it doesn't have to mean that you always going to get hurt. It just means that you have to do something different. That you have to start looking at something other than what you've been attracted to. And the fact that you're attracted to guys who will just take advantage of you and hurt you has a lot to do with you, who you are as a person, your self-esteem, your self-love. It goes deeper than what people imagine. It's not just about a surface, oh, he's a bad guy. No, you are attracted to that type of guy. So that says a lot about your mentality as well. How do you feel about yourself? What you think about yourself? Do you love yourself? Because typically when you allow people to just do certain things to you, or you're attracted to a guy that you know or that you see is not really worth your time, but that's who you like and you keep going with it, that has everything to do with how you feel about yourself. And if you allow yourself to go through that, then you don't feel too highly or think too highly of yourself as well. So it has a lot to do with you and how you see yourself, how you view and value yourself as well. And I think a lot of women don't realize that. He's a bum. Oh, he was this. He ain't that. He ain't that. But you had children with him. You dated him for years. You put up with his stuff for years. So that says a lot about what you think of yourself. Because people who think highly of themselves don't allow people to come into their lives and just wreak havoc and just do anything, Not saying that you got to see the actions of a person. You got to see what they're about. But so that takes time. You get to know the person. You see that they don't have they're not living up to your expectations, or they're not doing what they say they were going to do. That they're doing something totally different. They're disregarding you. They don't really seem to care. Like when you realize those things, that's when you're supposed to bounce. That's when you're supposed to walk away. You got to have the strength enough to say, you know what, this is really not what I signed up for, and I'm out. Before it get too deep or get too far in, no, I'm going to remove myself from this because I see that this is a toxic nature, and I know that this is going to destroy my mentality and create some trauma within me that I don't want. So you got to have the strength enough to move on and not let people, create that trauma in your head, because it's not going to be beneficial to you or any other relationship that you get in the future. So yeah, you got to understand, you are what you allow. If you allow people to just treat you in their own kind of way, then that means there's a deficit within you that would allow you to even deal with that. There are some people who are just no nonsense. They don't let nothing disturb their peace. They don't let nothing come in between that. And they're real serious about it. So they're moving on. When they see toxic nature or behavior, they like, nah, I'm not dealing with that, because they understand they're protecting their peace. And I think that's very important. It doesn't mean that you're stuck up or you think you better. No, it means that you understand your worth and your value, and you want your peace of mind, and you don't want people to come in and disrupt that. So yeah, I just think, women move in a way and speak in a way that, that makes it seem like the man is always the problem. No, he was a problem, but you allowed that energy and that type of person in your space. So you have some accountability to take as well. And then to turn it around, this is why I say women can be a much more toxic than men, but it's because instead of saying, you know what, I dealt with guys that just were bad, and they didn't take me seriously, I got to take some accountability, because that's the ones that I gravitate to. Yeah, they like me and I like them back. So instead of saying, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that type of guy, I'm going to find another guy who's interested, I'm going to take a different approach. No, just now anything is I'm just going to finesse whoever approached me, be ready to be taken advantage of. So, if men hear that, they're going to be aware of that. And that's not going to get you anywhere, especially if you want stable, healthy relationships in the future. That's not going to help that. Turning your heart cold does not help you or benefit you in the future. You're just going to find yourself by yourself playing games. And then for men who recognize the games that women play now, it might not even be what you think. You may not even be able to finesse in the way that you think you could, because men are aware to that nature. And I mean, think about it too, though. If you think you finessing him or out of some money or whatever, well, you think you doing that for free? No, because he gonna want something in return. These men, if he got it, then then you end up with another baby possibly, or just getting ran through for some money, prostituting yourself out there, and that's no benefit for you or anybody. I mean, no benefit for you. So yeah, that's crazy to me. I just think it's crazy. And this is how a lot of women think when they done picked the wrong dude, and now they mad because it didn't go the way you thought it should have went. So listen, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to be notified when I upload new content. Chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.